Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Call this meeting to order. Please rise and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Invocation, please.
Heavenly Father, tonight we thank you for allowing us to come together. We thank you for the mayor and the council who serve this community. We ask your blessings on them. We ask that you just be with them and help them to lead and guide this community into what you know it can be. So we give you thanks and praise for that, and we just ask the blessing of all those that serve our community, and we give you thanks for them in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen. Please be seated. If you have cell phones like I do, please put it on silent or vibrate. Okay, let's get started. First thing will be roll call. Alderman Greg Smith, absent. Alderman Lori Quinn.
Here.
Alderman Mike Schneider.
Here.
Alderman Adrian Saunders.
Here.
Alderman Robin Simpson.
Present, yes.
Alderman Jason Osborne.
Here.
We have a quorum. Okay. First on the agenda, the tab 4 will be to review and approve the minutes of the November 21st, 2024 board meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
We have a motion on the floor to approve the minutes of the November 21st, 2024 board meeting. Do we have a second? We have a motion and a second on the floor to approve the minutes of the November 21st, 2024 board meeting. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. Okay, next thing will be the mayor's report. I am here to inform the Board of Aldermen that the fire department has requested that the city fund the fireworks for the fireworks display. This year they're requesting an amount up to $7,500.
There's two, right? Bill's here.
There are two invoices from the past.
Oh, is that just an example of how much?
Yeah, that's,
Oh, these are just examples. Oh, okay. I got you.
I'll make a motion to deny the request.
We have a motion on the floor to deny the request.
you don't have to do that, do you?
Oh.
Or, I don't know.
It will die for lack of motion.
Oh. To deny, I didn't think you did, okay, but I'm not sure. Sorry.
Any other discussion on the fireworks request? Okay, moving along. You have under tab 5 a copy of the Missouri Public Utilities Association Project Services Agreement. In a nutshell, what this is, as you might know, we had an outage here a couple of weeks ago. That was a result of an issue with a switchgear. Well, I started out over at the high school and it matriculated over to the power plant, and that ended up causing a relay issue. We were down for several hours. MPA was here with their staff. They assisted us in getting the problem resolved, and of course they bill you for that. What the important part about having an agreement, there's no ifs, ands, or buts that they will get over here as fast as they quickly can in case of emergency. In absence of the agreement, a written agreement, not that they would, but there's always the potential that they won't be available as quickly as we need them, or have the appropriate resources available when we need them. This pretty much takes care of that.
This is on an as-needed basis, correct?
Yes, yes.
And this is their rate at the start date that they were charged?
The rates that are shown on that are what they charge, yes.
Wow.
It's more than I think.
What was the last one they charged us? $2,100, and they was here for what? That was for the.
Early morning until power came back on, was restored maybe around noon.
No, this was the last issue where we
There
thought
was
we were
two
going to be
of them.
down 72 hours, and they got in here and helped us get it back up, and it was still quite a while. But if they hadn't been here, I don't know what we would have done. We didn't have the resources to solve it. We'd had to do a mutual aid and call in other surrounding areas, hoping that they had the expertise and knowledge to do it. I don't think they would have. We were fortunate enough to have their director of engineering on site and one of their senior members, Kevin Thornton, on site as well. And they were very, very helpful. That MPUA is who we purchase our electricity from.
So basically, this is something that we've already been paying. There just wasn't an actual agreement in place.
Correct.
Yeah,
And the agreement would expedite them
getting here.
assisting us if we had
It
an
really
emergency.
puts everything in place that gives you terms, conditions, responsibilities, liabilities to get it all, legal like most contracts would. I'll say this, I'm not sure we have much of an alternative.
Yeah,
And so what I would need is a motion to authorize the mayor to enter into this agreement with MPUA, their project services agreement 001 between the city of Monroe City and MPUA, a resource services corporation.
And I'd just point out that Exhibit 2, you look behind there, it also shows your coverage amounts. So, but
yeah,
I know the hourly rate looks really high, but if something goes wrong, I mean, there's their insurance declaration.
yeah.
So that's what probably a lot of the rate is covering is their risk.
I'll make a motion to have the mayor execute the agreement with the MPUA.
We have a motion on the floor to authorize the mayor to enter into the project services agreement with MPUA. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion second on the floor to authorize the mayor to enter into a project services agreement with MPUA of Monroe City, Missouri. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. Motion carries. We'll take care of that tomorrow. I have more information to discuss, but I'm going to do it during the appropriate, what I think is the appropriate time, during the committee reports section. So we'll move right along to the city clerk's report under tab 6. Danette, you got the floor.
Don't have too much. These 2 weeks kind of flew by. Our new clerk has started, and she's done a lot of her training already in the license side. She has CDL training left to do. Once she gets her fingerprinting back and is approved with that, then she will start in on the fusion side, which is what they just switched over to, and she'll have a lot of training to do on that side too, but it's going really well, I think. Did get the payroll audit completed, got that submitted to Myrna, so everything's good there. Did include a list of delinquent accounts.
I want to say thank you for all the hard work done on that. Looks great.
Yes.
I know Phoebe and Alex, they have really worked on it hard to get,
It shows.
yeah.
Wow, that's amazing, only 4.
That's it.
And one of them's 38.
There were pages
So
before.
these are just like of the current billing cycle or all
This
the.
would have been not the current billing cycle, but with the last billing cycle. And the only ones on there are ones that have payment plans. Or the other individual that's on there, he is a cross-country customer and he's okay.
Checkbox in there. So then, do we have other outstanding accounts besides these, or like,
Well, just for the ones that are due this month.
Okay.
Which, I mean,
But
they're
no,
not due
none that are
yet,
past
so
due.
no.
none that are
not
like
really.
any other days past due.
They're not in default, none that are in default. Okay,
We have others that we're waiting on kneecap payments for, but that's,
right, that's guaranteed already, yeah. That is awesome.
I think that's everything.
That concludes your report,
I have one question.
please.
It's somewhere and I can't find it. I don't know if it was in the minutes or where. But you had mentioned last meeting about we had found where some taxes had not been paid again. I thought that was with the state, but I thought I read someplace it was 941, so would that be FIPA, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
I did find where a payment was made for the 941s.
Okay,
I have not reached out to them to find out if it's completely up to date with penalties and everything. I haven't gotten anything in the mail from them, so
Right.
I'd say it probably is.
okay.
That payment, it was made when, I didn't bring that folder with me.
That's okay.
Yeah.
But the ones we're concerned about are the Department of Revenue, is
The
that correct?
state,
Okay.
yes.
Danette,
Uh-huh.
on some checks on here, it says like from October, it's got my signature and Melissa's on here.
Yeah, I reached out to Tessian again and told them that they're still showing the wrong signatures on there. They're supposed to be getting those updated.
We provide them to them.
We have provided them more than once through Tessian.
More ammunition to move it back in.
And real quick on that, I don't know that the transition will take place by December 31st because I want to get this rectified with taxes and everything before we bring it back in-house. And,
Good. Well, you need them to help do that. Okay, that concludes your report. Okay, moving right along, next thing on the agenda, city attorney's report.
Nothing earth-shattering to report. We've got the 2 ordinances down there, new business, and then we've got the poll agreement and amendment we're ready to vote on.
Okay,
Other
Okay.
than that, no excitement in the legal world.
Good.
that's always a good thing, right? Okay, thank you very much, John.
yes.
Okay, we did have a guest speaker listed. That person called and canceled. I think they intend to revisit that in 2 weeks perhaps. We'll have to wait and see.
Did you get on the list?
I called her and we spoke with her and she said that you would get to it.
Yep, we're gonna discuss it under electric.
Oh, okay.
So that'll make electric interesting. 'Cause I have a bunch of stuff to talk about too. So next thing we have will be the committee reports. Planning and zoning, have anything to report? Greg's not here, so I guess the
What
answer
was
would
the
be
deal
no.
with that meeting? It was just
I think
No one showed up.
nobody showed up, basically.
You and I and Greg did.
Yeah.
But I think if the answer you're looking for is Carrie Lee, who we had temporarily asked to continue doing the planning and zoning, the building inspection, because we need to have someone, because the school's right in the middle of a project, and they need to have an inspection point done so they can move on to the next stage. So we got that done. Carrie was going to reach out to the 2 individuals who had requested the planning and zoning commission to meet. One was going to be for it wasn't a variance, conditional use permit, and the other person was going to have a site plan, and that did not occur. So Kerry's gonna reach out to them and find out where they're at and when will they have all their information together so they can schedule a meeting. Okay, Parks and Recreation. Nothing. Economic Development. Nothing. Administration Committee. I would like the Administration Committee to take up the issue of reviewing a potential position for Utilities Director. So those of you who are on the Admin Committee, I would appreciate if you take that up. I have several job descriptions available from other locations, other cities that you may choose to review, and I'm going to expand on that when we get to the electric department report. I got another report for them tonight. Anything on nuisance review board, public safety?
I think this time.
Zach, you got anything on public safety? Okay, we will be talking about a very important ordinance. It was Bill 09-2020 that was passed in 2020, and for reasons unknown, only a couple of paragraphs related to that ordinance ended up in the new ordinance that's accepted in October 2022 and is shown online, on Unicode Online. So we will be taking action tonight to rectify that situation and repass that ordinance in its entirety and get it back on Unicode. It was a very good ordinance. It was modeled after an ordinance in Palmyra. It has withstood a court test or two, and so we're hoping that I'm hoping you guys had a chance to look at that prior to the meeting, but if not, we'll take the time to discuss it prior to attempting to get it passed. All right, let's go forward now with department reports. Police Department. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And don't take that the wrong way. Water Department. Go ahead, Mr. George.
The only thing I have is, if you recall at the last meeting, I asked for your approval to get a motor for the high service pump number 2 that had failed. The motor's came in, it's been installed, and it's in and working properly.
Good.
And that's all I have for you.
Good, good, good.
Awesome.
George stopped by today and let me know that we should have a report from Black and Veatch at our next board meeting on the 19th to bring us up to date on where they're at with their work, and hopefully we'll have some good solid estimates on expected cost for the upgrade to the water treatment plant, which will also be part of the submission that we will be giving to our bond fiduciary, Mr. McClain and Associates, as we move forward with obtaining funding for that project, as well as recapturing a very large sum of money we spent on industrial park substation. I have, as a side issue, I have put together a budget that utilizes those tentative influx, if you will, of bond funds, and has a significant difference on the electric department's ending budget, as well as the water department's ending budget, because right now with that budget shows all these expenditures that were unplanned, unexpected, and unfunded, but they're in the budget. So yeah, it makes a significant difference. But we'll continue to work towards that goal. Electric department. We have spent quite a bit of time talking with our friends at Missouri Public Utility Association about how we might best manage our electric department going forward in the future. What does that mean? Well, do we go hire an electric manager at the current going rate? Qualified individual is going to cost just about as much as the utility director would, and pretty close to what a city administrator would cost. And we end up having some discussions about do we want to get a utility director or utility manager to manage all of our departments, because we basically have people services does their thing, but with water and sewer, but we still have gas and electric, and we're still responsible for the water, and we're still responsible for the sewer, even though we have an outside firm taking care of it and doing a very good job of that. Trying to get the most bang for our buck, and so if your expectation, and mine would be, is that if we're going to hire a manager, we would want someone who is capable of doing project planning, budget management, getting their arms around our preventive maintenance program for our distribution in particular. And as we talk through that, and we talk about all these expectations that we would have of someone that is going to be compensated at that high level, the whole conversation kind of matriculate over into, well, what about all the other departments? And we have really good guys that are really good at what they do, the mechanics, the actual product that they produce, the work that they do is very, very good. But what we don't have right now, we don't have a city administrator who would, under the best circumstances, be managing all these issues. They'd be aware of loss or shrinkage when it comes to, how much natural gas we purchased, how much we sold. Same thing for water. Same thing for electricity. Which, if one would guess that and hope that had someone capable, qualified individual been in that position or a similar position like a utilities director or utilities manager, they would have been aware that we had some significant losses in our electric department. They would have been aware that all those issues we've already talked about, we'll go over them again. They would have been aware of those things, and we wouldn't find ourselves in a position where we're at right now relative to our balance sheet. So I want to throw that over to the admin committee to start doing some research with the objective or goal of coming back to the Board of Aldermen with a recommendation on how we want to proceed, because we have to. We have to make something happen.
So are you suggesting either a city administrator or a utility director?
Yes.
Okay.
And I, if the choice was mine, I would spend we're operating a business, in a sense, okay? And we have currently right now in city administration, and I'm not talking about me, okay? I'm talking about Danette and her crew. They're very capable of handling all the governmental issues and the reporting and all those things. And if it wasn't a municipality and it wasn't managed by oversight by elected officials, and it was a private business and I owned it, I would go get a utilities director / manager, because I want to manage the business side, because that's what's got us where we're at right now. And please understand, I'm not saying anything about the fine efforts that we've got from all of our city employees and managers, but we need to step it up. We need a professional manager in here.
So you want somebody to be manager of electric and gas?
Electric, gas, and George would be working with them, representing people services relative to water treatment, distribution, wastewater treatment and collection. People services doing a fine job of doing that right now. But George would report to that guy or woman, whoever it might be.
Street be included in that?
Street, everybody.
All of it.
Everybody.
Stormwater, everything. Stormwater, everything.
Everything.
So
The whole
overall manager.
The whole kit.
So
Yeah.
use
And
public works.
Yeah.
that would free the rest of our staffing
what,
up to do what they're really, really good at
Rogers,
doing, and that's the preventive maintenance, the ongoing maintenance, the
Right.
installations, the repairs.
Kind of like what Blake Rogers was, utilities.
I don't know, I wasn't.
He kind of was over that part.
Okay, okay. John, got something to say there?
No.
Because it's, you kind of, throw that out there for you, but I'd like the administration, committee, to take this and run with it and bring back some recommendations on how to proceed. I just got a copy of the MML, wage and salary survey for 2024. It was taken early 2024. It covers every single possible potential position in any municipality. It's got Wentzville in it and St. Joe and a whole bunch of other cities. For just about, I don't think there's a single position that's not in there. And you can see what cities of our size relative to population and or annual budget, what they're paying for people in various positions. Yes, the mayor's highly underpaid. Anyway, moving right along. That was a joke. That was a joke.
So eventually the departments wouldn't have a manager, they would just have a crew leader.
They'd have a crew leader, or you could say department supervisor.
Is it?
Okay, and I don't think any one of those guys are gonna have a tizzy fit over it. I think they would look forward to having that budget responsibility, the HR responsibility, and I can keep going, off of their shoulders.
Well, one thing as we know, we haven't in the past been able to come up with what are our costs until we see we're in the hole. I mean, there's no, at the end of the year, we go back and look at our rates, do a rate study and understand, are we breaking even? I mean, we've talked about it in several meetings where we're actually losing money versus what we're paying for electricity, is that right? And what we're charging for electricity, we're losing money.
Well, we
That
did
public
a rate
works
study.
That's why
We did a rate
yeah.
study.
Right, but the
And we
public
should have
works
done it
director
annually.
could look at that annually.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
we wouldn't be overspending year after year after year after year.
You were 100% right.
Yeah.
That would
And-
be,
Come to think of it, I have seen some spreadsheets that were put together. Rogers, yeah,
like,
Rogers. And he put together 10 lines. And I don't know, I don't know anything more about that, but yeah, he put together some pretty detailed, complex spreadsheets on utilities. I don't know to what end, or I wasn't here. I had no clue what was done with the information that he had, who it was presented to, or anything else. But the answer to your question is, if you look through the current job responsibilities for the city administrator position, it's in our ordinance relative to oversight of utilities and providing to the board monthly reports regarding the utilities. And I can't get into the detail, but part of it was income and expense, and then the loss,
Losses.
the loss part.
The
And so I
line
think that's
loss.
kind of where you're going with this. And yeah, I would expect the administration committee to come back and say, we reviewed this, and this job description, and and we put together our own that we think is what we need to have a person in that position responsible for. Fair enough?
And I think, it's gonna cost to get somebody.
it will.
It is.
'Cause
And
But-
I have a good idea what other
Yeah.
cities of this size and budget are paying.
Yeah, but I
You
mean.
get what you pay for.
But
Yeah,
you get what you pay for. Yeah.
And I'd rather
Absolutely.
see somebody get more and have it done right than,
Yeah.
So you good with that?
yeah,
Yes.
All right. Thank you very, very much.
pleasure.
Okay.
Just wanna add real quick, I'm not certain who the chair is for the admin
There
committee,
would be
but
Jake's.
once you get a meeting set or something, get a hold of Alex and he'll get everything
Okay.
posted.
Robin's the head of that.
No, that would be you.
Are you the second?
Co-ish.
Oh, ish.
Oh, so we're equals, you're saying?
No. You
So
be the
that's
big
one thing I had to discuss relative to electric department. The next thing I'm going to discuss is compensation for one of our current employees. Chris Whelan, right now, he's been doing here with us since 2018. To give you an idea, our linemen that are in the apprentice program, each year they take a test, and when they pass that test successfully, they automatically get $1 an hour raise. Well, here pretty quick, our most senior apprentice is going to be making exactly what our 5-year guy has been making, and we have been running the risk of losing our journeyman linemen because other cities 17 miles away from us pay a much higher compensation for their journeyman linemen. So I discussed doing this in closed session, but you have to come back out and vote anyway, so and announce it, so we're going to do it right now. Right now, Mr. Whelan is currently being compensated at $27 per hour. After review of the MML pay for similar sized cities and doing an average of all cities, low and high, they're low for the average for all the cities on the report. Their low was $26.55, and their high was $35.06. Palomar is paying almost $49 right now.
Did you say 49?
Yes, 49. So I'm going to ask the board, since I'm in a sense taking some responsibility for oversight of the electric department right now, so we find some other method to handle that, and I'm going to ask the board to increase his rate of pay to $30 an hour, so that he's not making the same thing that the guy's only been there 2 years is making. Because if we lose one, we won't be able to hire someone for what we're paying him. We just won't. So that's my recommendation to the board relative. And plus, he's taking on additional responsibility now that the electric manager has separated from the city.
And that would put it, and everybody else's would be in line with their experience then?
Yeah, he's 5 years experience.
Yeah.
The guy could walk in tomorrow, throw down his 2-week notice, and be working someplace else for a lot more.
I'll make a motion to increase Chris Whelan's rate of pay to $30 per hour.
Have a motion on the floor to increase Mr. Whelan's rate of pay, who's journeyman lineman for our electric department, to $30 an hour. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion second on the floor to approve the increase in the pay rate or compensation for journeyman lineman Chris Whelan. All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say no. Motion carries. Thank you very much. Okay, I believe that we have an issue under tab 10. Danette, you want to take off on this?
Sure. I spoke to Leanne Moss a couple of days ago, and she's been having some ongoing issues with power outage, as well as her neighbors have as well. She did provide an email, which everyone should have a copy of, kind of going over the timeline of things that have happened at her property. And she's provided some pictures. And she's wondering if this new switch over that they're going to be doing in the near future, will that help with any of their power issues at their area? And feel free to speak up on anything.
Yeah, please do.
So, Mr. Miller, I think you know where I live.
Yeah, you come on up here and stand up. And,
oh gosh, okay.
You don't have to. You don't have
I
to.
wore my best Christmas shirt.
Just slide that switch on that microphone. Is it on or slide it towards
See us on first.
Oh, yeah. It's our first night with Mike, so we're kind of excited.
Yes, thank you. First of all, I do want to say she was very nice on the phone. I'm sure she deals with a lot. I was pretty upset after Sunday, and so professionally, I was professional with her, and she's professional with me, so I do appreciate that, Danette. I spoke with Chris Whelan on Sunday. You do have the email. That is just what I have documented. We have a street group chat where we kind of all just watch out for us. We're on James Lane. Mr. Miller, I can see his house from my house. As far as I'm aware, I think we are on the same power grid as like Lakeside. different from the rest of the town. A lot of times the town will have it and we do not. I believe that is true. I did contact Net to see if the new power grid or power station, I looked through your minutes for November and October to see if I could find out some information for myself. I watched the videos on YouTube just to try and figure it out before I came here, guns blazing. To see if that she was unaware, if that's going to affect James Lane. That's kind of one of the questions. We do lose power significantly, as you can see. Sunday was the most recent one. Chris Whelan did come. It took him over an hour. Now, with that said, it is a Sunday and it was snowing. However, it was cold. I've got 2 kids at home, and you know, being a mama bear, you're upset and you want someone to come out now. Per Chris, you are short-staffed. I know you are addressing that right now. At the time, we didn't know what was going on with Carrie Lee. That's also a rumor in town. He said there's polls down, there's other things to take care of, and I understand that. However, my situation is in my household. This is an issue. We have an enemy, and it's called a squirrel. It is the one that is breaking the box right outside of our home. Tons. It is a lot. I think this was the 3rd time I have documentation of 2. I can't tell you the 3rd one, so I got half proof of that one. I don't know if there is a squirrel guard, but the power surges are hard on appliances. Our neighbors have lost some appliances. Our furnace is currently not working. We have paid a man to come out. We are living on space heaters currently, as of today. The part is going to be $600. His fee to come out and look was $135, so I don't know how much it's going to cost us in the end. I don't know whose fault that is. That's why I'm here to get answers. I tried to look online. I called Carrie Cooper, our house insurance agent, to try and also find out. We have bought a generator, and we are looking at a house surge protector. I didn't know they make those, but they do. Not just surge protectors for your appliances, but they make a whole house one. They do range from $70 to $700. I still have to look more into that to see what time we would need. I'm frustrated. I know you guys are frustrated. I know you're all coming into a problem that you didn't create. However, I want you to be aware of this problem. Something needs to be done. I don't know if there's squirrel guards. I'm not sure if that new power grid, I think it said December 9th, they're going to test it and then it goes into effect the next week. If that affects James Lane, but it's been going on for a while.
I'm incapable of answering the question relative to the impact of the Industrial Park substation to the circuit on James Lane. I don't think it will change anything.
Okay.
I only know this much about this issue, very issue you're talking about, and it was the squirrels. And the squirrel guard.
Yes.
And did he say anything to you about needing to get into an alley on Front Street?
Chris Whelan?
Yeah, did he say anything to you about that?
No, he did not.
I know REC has, it's like a plastic sleeve
They put over the line.
that they put over the poles to try to keep the squirrels from being able to get a grip and get all the way up. I don't know if that's,
I don't know how much they cost.
How-
I don't know
if
at
they
30,
work.
$30 an hour, if it'd be more cost effective to have a squirrel guard than have pay Chris Whelan come out on a Sunday. I don't know how that works. I
Right.
apologize if that's just a salary part, if he's on call, or if you're paying him hourly.
Live track.
Sounds to me like I need to talk to
We
Chris and
have 2
find
dogs,
out.
and I promise you they are squirrel killers, but this is in Coach Krager's yard, if you guys know where he lives, so you can kind of see where we're at. Like I said, this is the 3rd time in 3 weeks, so it is a problem. I do, like I said, have documentation. I know it happened a 3rd time, it's just we didn't know something about it.
roughly how long is it out when it does go out?
This last time was an hour, and I told her there were several other instances where it's gone out at night, and I told her I don't have documentation because it was on by the time we woke up. Our clocks are off, that's how we know.
Right.
Several times, but that's still a power surge. And maybe we are responsible for that, I understand that, but I'm hoping that, responsible or not, this is an issue, and I'm hoping that we can rectify it for the families that live on that street and for Lakeside. I mean, you gotta think too, when theirs goes down, the machines go down, the things melt, or they cool, they're no longer hot, they have to send employees home. It's a problem.
I'll get with
We're on the
Chris.
same power grid.
I'll get with Chris tomorrow and dig into this and find out what we can do to put something on those poles to discourage the squirrels. I looked back at the chief to try to see if he's going to arrest me if I go shoot him, but
He's also a neighbor.
but
It's squirrel season. Isn't it?
animal control, I don't know. I apologize. I truly do. I really
Appreciate it.
didn't know a whole lot about this.
And that's why I'm bringing it. It's been an issue for a while, and quite honestly, I figured my husband's called and maybe it was time for me to come in here.
Well, I believe you and Danette have already had a discussion about whether or not the issue with your furniture was caused by
She said
that.
you guys carry insurance.
But
I looked at
yeah.
Kiplinger Associates. I mean, Russell would probably maybe know better about that, like who would be responsible. Some say animals don't count, some say they do. Again, I contacted Carrie Cooper on Tuesday after I contacted Danette, and she has not got back to me as to if it's our homeowner's insurance or who would be
Okay,
responsible.
well, let her know what you
And again, she
determine,
was very professional.
and we'll see what what we're responsible for. We'll certainly try to owe up to it. I'll get a hold of Chris tomorrow morning and find out what we can do to deter the squirrels.
No, it feels sad, like city hall meeting or discussing squirrels, but
Well,
it
I'm
is.
all for a squirrel relocation program, or elimination.
A squirrel relocation program. Do we need to put that on the agenda for our next meeting?
Isn't it squirrel season?
No.
Yeah, well, there's no problem. Go
I
ahead.
spoke with Chris on this a little bit, and he did say there are some type of covers that can go on some wires that possibly they could try to do that to where the squirrel can't get to what's causing the power outage.
Yeah.
So that might be a possibility.
I will talk to him about how we can approach this. There was a very brief conversation about the outage because yours went out and mine flickered. And I knew something was going on, but I didn't know what or how severe it was. And I mentioned that to him. He told me about the squirrel issue. And he mentioned needing to get into someone's backyard. I assume on an easement, but he was concerned about tearing their yard up. But we have a tracked vehicle that you can put the bucket on.
So he parked on Lawn Street between, I think you guys all, Sarah Flick's house and Coach Krager. So that's where he parked his truck, and then he walked, so he would be walking in Coach Krager's, because ours is fenced, and so are the Flicks. Coach Krager's is not, and so he would walk, it's right by our fence though, so it'd be Coach Krager's yard, and then it's Jim Campbell, kind of right at the same time.
I should know that area. I live over there, but I don't.
Is it the same squirrel?
There's no way it is the same
Yeah.
story.
There is a ample supply of squirrels
Chris
on
Wiggum
Wall
did take the
Street.
squirrel, he did
No,
discuss
see, we did do this squirrel relocation program where we catch them in a live trap and spray paint their tails and see if they were visiting the places. Okay. We actually took them out of town to see how long it take them to get back.
How long did it take them?
One that they did less than a week, and that was from Swinky. Yeah.
Will I hear from you? Do I need to contact?
Please contact her office or Alex, because I'll be working through them.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
No, you're
Thanks,
certainly
Steve.
welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, all right. Natural gas department, nothing. Street department, I don't see anybody. I really need those.
I want it.
She wants
He doesn't want him to, he's kind of.
You don't want a hangry alderman. Airport, Bill's not here. Mosswood, moving right along. Okay, next thing on the agenda, yes, sir. I'll have to call the meeting to order over candy. Presentation of bills and approval of payments under tab 11.
Okay. I have a question. We discussed this at the annual conference. Why are we getting billed from Dig Right?
These are for our one calls. When people are going to, dig up their electric or water to do repair of some sort,
Right.
we pay for that. Our gas department is who is responsible to go out and locate for local utilities. They also reach out to the telephone people and cable people and all of that, but we are paying for what is located in the city.
But we're doing the locates, right? So we're paying to.
Not all locates.
No, yeah, not all, no.
So is it the ones that we're not able to do, or I'm just confused?
Do you have that bill with you? They're only like $1 or something per.
Oh, so this is like
What are you seeing on there, Mike?
It was.
Missouri one call.
Missouri one
next
call,
For 149.
150, because they don't charge the customer. Yeah, definitely.
So yes, Missouri One Call charges every individual utility for their services. Whenever a customer calls in, they.
It's more of it's for the data aggregation.
Yes,
Okay,
and then that's how Missouri One Call can stay in business, is each utility that is under that umbrella has to pay for the locates. So,
Okay.
yeah, every time that the gas department, water department, electric department get called, each one will get a charge.
And it's only a couple bucks per.
It's $1.35 per call,
Oh,
and
okay.
this is a quarterly bill, so this is for 3 months, and it's for 111 locates.
Oh, okay. I was wondering where they get their money.
Yep, that's where it is.
Yeah.
I have a question. Hawk, HACH Service Partnership, water
Yeah, me too.
renewal. What is that?
Yes, it was pulled out because when I was reviewing to sign the checks, it was just a quote. It was not an invoice, so all we have right now is a quote on this
Sure.
service.
Right, and what that is that's an annual service agreement with Hot Company, and they come out and they calibrate the spectrometer.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
on and so forth. But
Yeah.
yes, the board does need to either approve or.
Well,
But that was just a
Once we get an
calibration.
invoice,
bill.
We will.
Well, they need to decide if we're gonna sign another annual agreement with them, because that's the cost of the annual agreement, is what it is. Not, we don't have to pay for it, but first we have to decide whether we are gonna
So
renew.
we just let them know we want to renew. Is
Yes.
that, okay.
It's
Yeah.
in the budget.
Does it need to be?
Yeah, and I can send you the email, because they were
Does it
trying
need
to
to be
send it
voted
to
on?
Tampa.
Yeah, because I didn't know anything
Does it
about it,
need
I
to
just
be
saw it
voted
as a
on?
quote, and I
We
pulled
already
it
have an
out,
agreement.
so.
Okay.
because
It's just a renewal.
Renewal.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
This elevator safety service, I realize it's for the inspection of the elevator, but did we ever get that cleaned up? Didn't we have like 2 different companies at one time and
Still
do an
are.
inspection?
Still are.
We-
We couldn't get out of the contract. They reduced the rate, but that's it. So, we couldn't get out. Remember that, John? Coney versus the other guy, Bernard and
Yeah,
Coney,
they don't
yeah.
work.
Lucky to be them.
I suppose so.
More door repairs? Doors and more?
Where you at?
Doors and more?
I thought we already paid that.
Oh, Doors and More was for the, this is second invoice or the first invoice?
This is the only one we've gotten.
Okay.
Okay.
I was thinking we'd seen it before.
Is everything done?
BBC
They did,
shoes.
they took care of 1, 2, 3 doors, plus the,
Sweeps on the 2.
plus the sweeps and also the, push button, door entrance.
Combination, yeah.
For a while, we couldn't lock one of our interior doors, it was broke. So we were just hoping that the outside door that we didn't make sure pushed in.
Yeah.
It didn't always close, so we would have to make sure, but the inside door just didn't unlock, the lock was pushed.
And now that's fixed, yeah.
Yeah, that outside door
Yeah.
on the south side was dragging.
Uh-huh.
The hinges on it were so worn. And that guy spent a lot of time.
They're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve the bills as presented.
We have a motion on the floor to approve bills payable. Do we have a second?
Second.
Have a motion second on the floor to approve bills payable. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. Okay, being there no other discussion, we'll move right on to new business. First thing you will see is a joint use pole agreement, which is an update to an agreement that was, what, 1955 or something like that? That's not a joke, folks.
I see it right
Holy
here.
cow.
We're probably
Oh
one
my
of two
gosh.
municipalities that doesn't ever change anything until now.
Can someone explain what that is? What is a joint use pole agreement?
So they can hang their wire.
The phone company, or in this case Brightspeed, are gonna come in and about 3 feet below our electrical lines. They're paying to be able to use a certain space to install their cable wire or fiber, whatever it is they're hanging up there. So they pay us an annual rental fee to use our poles.
What was it before?
They paid, what was it, $4?
It was $4 before.
And now they're gonna pay $7.50.
$7.50. Yep.
Which seems to be reasonable, because guess what, they still use USC, whatever it is, 1947 in the calculation. Had an opportunity to review the 35-page pole agreement from Palmyra. We later elected to just revise ours. It was so complex and so complicated, we required an attorney every time we wanted to read it. Hi, John.
Theirs is 35 pages and ours is 1.
No.
This is just
It's-
an up.
If you ever having trouble
Having-
sleeping some night, read Palmyra's pole agreement.
That sounds like misery.
It'll put you, unless you're an engineer, it'll put you to sleep.
Yeah.
It almost put me to sleep.
So we're not changing it other than just increasing the rent?
Yeah, we're making them pay something closer to what is reasonable.
And is there,
Based on the, inflation alone.
I guess someplace in the agreement there'd be recourse if they damage the pole or cause damage or something?
Is Spectrum paying a fee too, I would imagine?
There's a little bit of complication here. This was actually done specifically because Brightspeed is coming in and doing their install.
Mhm.
This will be sent to them, if you all approve it, this will be sent to them later tonight.
Right.
Because they've been waiting on the mayor's office for about a month and a half to get this done, because I was trying to work through all of the possible issues and trying to make sure it was up to date and done correctly. And well, after all that wasted time, we're right back to the same agreement virtually, with some rewording and a new price. So they want to move forward, and we want them to pay a higher rate than the other agreement. The whole issue of pole agreements and franchise fees with the cable companies went through quite a bit of change in the last 2 or 3 years. The legislature has seen fit to make it almost impossible to charge franchise fees going forward. The fees that are in place are typically diminishing year over year because of the legislation. So, at least we're going to try to recapture some of the cost of the poles and pole maintenance and of course, eventual replacement.
I'll
It's a
make a motion.
formality that we need to move forward with.
I'll make a motion to approve the amendment to the joint use pole agreement.
We have a motion on the floor to approve the amendment to the joint use pole agreement. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion second on the floor to approve the amendment to the joint use pole agreement. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. Motion carries. Thank you very much. The next thing you have will be bill number 17, down under tab 11. Bill number 17, for the lack of a better characterization, is we are going to be asking this board to reapprove an ordinance that back in 2020 was bill number 09. 2020, it was passed, it was voted on, passed. We have copies where it was duly signed off by the appropriate officials within the city clerk and the mayor at the time. And for whatever reason, It did not get included in its entirety in the ordinance that was passed in 2022 to put all the ordinances on Muni code. And that same ordinance that they passed simply said to the effect that anything that they didn't put on there was automatically repealed. And this ordinance, for whatever reason, did not make it onto Muni code in its entirety. And so it's a very good ordinance. It deals with nuisances and junk cars and dilapidated cars. It even goes as far to suggest that if a car that is disabled sits on the lot of a company that repairs vehicles for over 90 days, they got to move it. And this has been tested in the courts. It's a valid ordinance. It gives the city and it gives the police department the ability to do a whole lot more than what our current ordinance does.
One other, in reviewing this for the meeting, one other thing that we need to look at for next year is our ordinance. If the city goes in and mows an abandoned property, this allows the city to put that on their property tax bill for the next year. So that's something it's kind of fallen away in the past, but that's something we need to do because it also gives absentee landlords that aren't taking care of their property an incentive to sell that property. I mean, because if we're going in and mowing their weeds, then we're getting reimbursed through it, or for it through the tax bill. So I'm not sure how many properties we mowed this summer that didn't belong to the city, but next summer we need to be proactive about that.
So this ordinance has that language in it?
Yeah, it's in there. It also, one big thing about it is if there's a junk car, the police can tag it. Somebody's got 7 days to deal with it. If not, then we can tow the car and sell the car to pay for our costs. So it really gives the city a lot of leverage to clean up junk vehicles and other junk around town.
Very good.
We've got a different ordinance on buildings.
Is it up to date?
It is, we just need a building inspector
To enforce it?
Enforce it.
So basically, it deals with, excuse me, it deals with grass and weeds, disabled vehicles and other junk, when and where defined as a nuisance.
There's a couple of alleys that are really bad.
And what's that?
There's a couple of alleys that are really bad.
Yes, yes. I wish it wasn't necessary to.
Small towns.
Hmm?
That's what happens in small towns. Okay, so do we need a reading of bill number 17?
Yeah, we gotta go through the whole process. We have to have a motion to do the.
This has been posted for public view as well.
And like the mayor said, I mean, it was passed
It was
unanimously
passed
in
before,
2020.
It looked like a good
Yeah,
ordinance. Just needs cleaned up. Do I make a motion for first reading, bill number?
We have a motion on the floor for a first reading of bill number 17. Is that the appropriate terminology?
It'll need to be read at least by title only.
Okay, an ordinance amending chapter 42, article 2, section 37-55 as amended of the Monroe City Code. Is that sufficient? We have a motion on the floor for the first reading. We have a second. We have a motion and a second on the floor for the first reading of bill number 17, an ordinance amending chapter 42, article 2, section 37-55, as amended of the Monroe City Code. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? No? Passes. By roll call? Again? Go for it.
Alderman Quinn,
Yes.
Alderman Saunders,
Yes.
Alderman Osborne,
Yes.
Alderman Simpson,
Yes.
Alderman Schneider.
Yes.
Okay.
First reading's approved.
Motion for second reading, bill number 17, an ordinance amending chapter 42, article 2, section 37 through 55 as amended of the Monroe City Code.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second on the floor to approve bill number 17, an ordinance amending chapter 42, article 2, section 37-55 as amended of the Monroe City Code. All in favor?
My apologies, I thought that last one was the second.
It's okay.
So,
Aye.
I'll do it one more time. Alderman Quinn,
Yes.
Alderman Saunders.
Yes.
Alderman Osborne.
Yes.
Alderman Simpson.
Yes.
Alderman Schneider.
Yes.
One of these days I'll get it right the first time.
No, I was thinking it was the second time, sorry.
That's good. We're good. We
Better safe than
doubly
sorry.
did it.
Better safe than sorry.
So, first and second readings are passed. This shall become an ordinance in our code of ordinances for the city of Monroe City. Second thing we get to do is bill number 18. We passed the ordinance, but we had a typographical error that we must address.
My fault.
Sorry?
John.
My fault.
Oh, darned. Bill number 18, an ordinance amending trash service fees and authorizing recycling fees. How far do I have to go with this reading?
Do you want to explain,
I don't.
or you want me to explain why we're doing it?
Please.
Public. Yeah.
So I had written it that we were gonna charge it to each utility customer, but then brought to my attention that not all our utility customers use trash service. So we're amending it to each dwelling that utilizes electric services. So we're narrowing the language a little for the recycling fees.
The price just didn't change, just
No.
the who were, okay.
Yeah, it was too broad
Yeah.
before.
Okay, so bill number 18, an ordinance amending trash service fees and authorizing recycling fees. We need to have a motion for the first reading.
I'll make a motion for the first reading, bill number 18. An ordinance amending trash service fees and authorizing recycling fees.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion second on the floor to approve bill number 18, an ordinance amending trash service fees and authorizing recycling fees. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Need a motion for a second reading.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion for a second reading on the floor to approve bill number 18, an ordinance amending trash service fees and authorizing recycling fees. We have a second.
Second.
We have a motion second on the floor for the second reading of bill number 18, an ordinance amending trash service fees and authorizing recycling fees.
Alderman Saunders,
Yes.
Alderman Osborne,
Yes.
Alderman Simpson,
Yes.
Alderman Schneider,
Yes.
Alderman Quinn.
Yes.
The ordinance is approved. First reading and second reading shall become part of our code of ordinances. Okay, it's not on here. I don't know if I can get away with this or not, but I have been in touch with McClany and Associates regarding the bond, utilizing the bond to obtain a loan to pay for the industrial park substation cost, which right now are around 1.1 million. I know we have at least one more payment, a little bit over $93,000 to Eaton when they finish up. I think that's their last payment, something around there. We had some other expenses with Seether and Sherry on the control, I call it control building. It's the building that contains all the controls to operate these switches remotely. So that's going to be another cost. And barring any other issues, it'll probably come in around $1.2 million or $1.3 million. I can't tell you exactly, not everything has been aggregated yet. He's working on that, and he's also working on, as a matter of fact, as a result of this and review of our proposed budget, which has been changed to the and modified to what we discussed on Tuesday night during our working meeting, will be presented to you guys again here very shortly. He quickly come back to me and responded that what we did on electric was certainly required, and that our next issue that will need to be reviewed will be natural gas rates, and in particular sewer rates. And during the discussion, we were talking about our services. He was very complimentary of the work that his organization has done with People Services in the past. And so People Services is also capable of helping us do water and sewer rate analysis. So thank you, George. And hopefully with Mr. McCliney and People Services, we can nail down what we need to do on sewer. He said water was okay. We'll wait to see if that's as far as the rates. We'll see if that's the final analysis or not.
So he suggests we do the rate study before we move forward using the loan money? I'm sorry, I didn't connect.
He's looking, what he's doing is he's looking at the budget, which has, proposed income and expense, and you got your carryover of the fund balance from the previous year. He's taking a look at those numbers, and he's looking to see whether or not we can pay the money back. Now, what's to our benefit, and he brought this up, is that the ordinance that was passed, and I didn't bring it with me, but the ordinance that was passed prior to the vote on the bond is they combined all of our utilities into one enterprise. So when you look at debt and debt service, they do not have to look at just one individual utility, like just natural gas, just electric, just water, just sewer. They can combine that total revenue from all four, combine all the total costs for O&M and operations, and they can determine whether or not we can afford the debt service. It's very beneficial because if there were an occasion where an individual enterprise current situation would not allow them to provide you a loan, you'd have a problem. You'd be stuck. We have the benefit of having basically four enterprises. And so, what the board did was a good thing.
You can't, if we took the loan out and used our bonds to pay the loan, but it was solely for electricity, water can't pay that back. It'd have to be electricity, right?
That's why they combined it.
But I mean, by law, we can't use water funds to pay for sewer.
It's my understanding it was combined for any utility service to utilize the bonds.
Right.
Whatever utility service chooses to do that is the revenue that needs to be repaid. Yeah.
Through that revenue stream.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because I don't think water can't pay for sewer or electric.
Right.
You can't. Yeah, that's
I know what he told me.
big no.
I mean, it makes sense.
Can we have combined users of that? Like a percentage for each?
Well, like, for instance, if this time we do 1.1 million for electric, we could come back later and do
Oh
2
yeah,
million
it's a
for
total
gas.
fund. It's a total
That's what I
fund.
was thinking.
It's a total fund.
Yeah.
Well, I'll ask Joey to explain in
The
further
bond
detail
was
what he said
smart
to
to
me.
word it that way because when the bond passed, I mean, if you had a small project come up in that same time period for water, you wouldn't have to go back to
It doesn't
people.
limit you to that one
Right.
Right.
enterprise fund.
Mhm.
It's blanket.
So that was very wise to pass it like that.
So he's working on that, and when we get more information,
Okay.
I'll update you guys. Being no further business for the regular meeting, I would entertain a motion to go into closed session.
Pursuant to this,
Hmm?
pursuant to 610-021, pursuant to this,
Yes.
I'll make a motion to go into closed session pursuant to RSMO 610.021.3, hiring, firing, and disciplining or promoting particular employees by public governmental body when personnel information about the employee is discussed or recorded.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on the floor to vote to go into closed session pursuant to RSMO 610.021.3, hiring, firing, disciplining, or promoting particular employees by a public governmental body when personal information about the employees discussed or recorded. Now closed section after the.
Roll call, hold on,
We have to do a roll call on that?
Osborne, Alderman
to
Osborne.
go and come out.
Aye.
Alderman Simpson.
Yes.
Alderman Schneider.
Yes.
Alderman Quinn. Yes. Alderman Saunders.
Yes.